I'd like to welcome very specially the Kosheleri of Oyo State, His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi, Governor of Oyo State. Your Excellency, welcome, sir. Right. It's time to take the comments and the questions. The way we have structured it, before you start raising up your hands, please, we're going to take 2 from here, 2 from here, 2 from here, and 2 from here, then 2 from the gallery, making 10 comments or questions. Just 2 from each of these rows. Please, your name and your question, please.
My name is, the mic is on. My name is Shegun Abiono. I greet the birthday papa of the day, Chief Muritala Akonde. Many years and many good works that you have started, God will enable you to finish them in Jesus' name. So, having said all about the ethnic nationalities and all this kind of a thing, I greeted the honorable speaker and the lecturer, Professor Akintoye. Having said that, congratulations to Splash FM. When the station started, you started with a lot of fanfare which endeared myself to your station, which is the old school music. But it hasn't been done the way you started. Please work on that. Now, coming back to Nigeria's situation, we are all, as been said and done, all this kind of a thing. Thank God our governor is here to take all what he has heard from this place to the highest authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please, may we be just quiet and have the question. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Abeke Lucas. I want to ask you, it's not a question on the lecture we have had today. I want to ask you to make sure that this lecture goes around, because not many people knows the history of Nigeria. Let it go around so that they will know the calamity that has befallen Nigeria, because the bane of our problem is Britain. And even until recently, they were telling us that they don't support division. Even after handing over the country to Hausa Fulani, please, he has already told us the way forward, and the government should do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucas. Thank you very much.
I'm very pleased and happy about the contribution of my long-standing friend, Banji Akintoye. Before he went to his great scholarship in 1964, we were both teachers at Ibadan Grammar School. You have not heard the story. You don't clap yet. This man, as a friend of mine, during the break, as teachers at Ibadan Grammar School, I told him the idea I nurtured in this great university in 1962, the idea of black man's dilemma. I said, Banji, why is the black man the underdog everywhere in the world? They took us as slaves, we were the underdog there. We had them guns before they enslaved us and colonized us. And we discussed for an hour. You know what Banji told me? He said, your book is a brilliant one. I will give you the title, The Personality of the Underdog. I published the title in the Sunday Times, and professors, funny professors, were abusing me. They say I didn't know about Oyo Kingdom, about Zimbabwe Empire, about Benin Kingdom. And I did more research. And that was why I wrote Black Man's Dilemma. Orí èèyàn dúdú dọ̀tí. And I thank God that I did that. And the genesis of it from this university. Banji, I congratulate you. We congratulate you for your thought. And we have the most thickly populated black country on earth, Nigeria, having no clue on anything. The most useless people, they have the final say in our affairs. We are the most corrupt country on earth. Are we not? Bangladesh beat us on one occasion. We are the most corrupt country on earth. We have the most greedy and selfish leader on earth. We are the kidnapping of the world. Mediocres are in control. Excessively greedy people. Yes, then finally, the young ones that are here, I am 80 plus. Please, you must rise up and fight.
Chief,
I've just created a platform for you, please. I have a magazine which will be on website soon. Rescue magazine. We must rescue Nigeria.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Chief. Oh, well.
My name is Akintoye John. My question does that as a youth of the nation, when he started started the lectures, he mentioned some points about the ethnics in Nigeria and also cultural activities. But our main focus is that for now, let's get this country right, because to me, it baffles my mind sometimes when we continue telling stories of 80s, 90s, 70s. Still yet, we are still continuing telling story. Please, our leaders, help us to do something 100 as Yoruba is concerned. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kudrat Akim Akwankwa. Sir, you talk so much about ethnicity in Nigeria, and you talked about other countries of the world. My issue is the issue of ethnicity in Nigeria is not based in the northern part, the southern part, and the eastern part alone. But look at it from the perspective of the Yorubas. We Yorubas, we're good at one thing, and that is one. I've done a research recently, and I'm not happy about the results I'm getting. Majority of the schools out there today talked about don't speak Yoruba to your children. And a lot of us parents too, we are obliged to this. And our language is fading off gradually, to the extent that a lot of children out there cannot speak their language the way they should. And the mother will be proud to tell you, kò gbọ́ Yorùbá, ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n bí sílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Number two, please. It has been 10 years since Splash FM has been doing this kind of program. And every year we come here to speak English. Let's do the next one in Yoruba. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
ẹ wò dáadáa yín ò ní bàjẹ́ láyé ẹ̀ ní dààmú látàárọ̀ ẹ̀ ṣáà ń fún èbó kí ló dé àwọn aláta ń gbọ́ onírú ń gbọ́ etí rí ẹjẹ́ aṣọ Yorùbá àwọn ọmọ mi kan lọ sí skul Olúyọ̀lé mi ní dákọ wọ́n wá ń sọ èbó mo ní dákọ sọ Yorùbá fún mi ó ní gírámà ó ní wọ́n sọ pé káwọn ọmọ sọ Yorùbá nílé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run gómìnà wa ẹ bá wa sọ fún àwọn private schools yìí o àwọn ọmọ wa wọn ò jẹ́ kán sọ Yorùbá mọ́ o wọn à ṣe Yorùbá mọ́ ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run ọdún kẹwàá tẹ́mi tí ń bá Splash bọ̀ rèé ọdún kẹwàá rèé mi ò so èbó rí ẹ jọ̀ọ́ o Splash FM Lágelú FM ẹ ní bàjẹ́ Títí Akínsọlá mo jẹ́ dodo ẹ bàjẹ́ ẹ ṣé o.
I don't know whether I should speak Yoruba now, but because of the audience, I want to say we have all heard how the problem of Nigeria African ethnicity has been analyzed. Now, from what we have heard, the solution lies in having a constitution that recognizes and respects our ethnic realities. How do we get that? I ask, how do we get it? I know that the National Assembly is in charge of constitutional rights. But you will agree with me that the National Assembly we had when the guest speaker was a member is far different from what we have today. So are we now going to resort to another constitutional assembly, or are we relying on on the 2014 the Jonathan recommendation that was inspired by the thinking of that time that did not respect ethnic nationalities? So how do we go ahead? That is my contribution. My name is Mokonju Olaolumi. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Yash. Your Excellency, Chairman, guest speaker.
Question, please.
Yes. From the lecture, what we gather is that the ethnic nationalities are very important. And I'm an advocate of federalism that embraces ethnic nationality as the federating units. But what we find lately, I mean, I've had a running argument with some people on the basis that using these zonal structures, that is the 6 zones of Nigeria. And I feel that is not enough. That is even going to cause more problem in the end, because each of the zones consists of several different ethnic nationalities. So I want to know from the lecturer what the idea is in terms of the use of the zones as against using ethnic nationalities as federating units. That's one. Then, part emanating from that is the fact that we have 250 to 300 ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. How do we go about getting them to operate a federal system? Because when you see so many nationalities, you can't, like, particularly the smaller ones, how do we get them to cooperate, to unite together so that they can form a bigger unit and then have a say in the federal system of government? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Gani Adeniran. First, I want to appreciate Prof Adebanji Akintoye for a well-thought-out lecture. I used to admire you in Senate between 79 and 83. And in 1980, maybe I remind you, you, late Justice Frank Atake, David Davinone, and Jonathan Odebiyi saved the day when the issue of Sharia was cleverly bestowed in. Now, in 2002, your colleague, Professor Afigo, was here to give a lecture titled "In the Shadow of the Caliphate, a question mark, Structure and Administration of Nigeria." I tend to believe that if the lecture were to be told by another historians from another part of the country, the thing would be different. My question, therefore, is how come that historians do not agree on certain facts as regards some of the issues that you raised? For instance, if you are to listen to an historian from ABU or some other part of the country that are trained like you here, they will be clothing it in a manner that will not suit the purpose that we have just listened to. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Before any other question will come up, I'd like our guest lecturer to answer. Yes, let him answer, then we'll take from this side.
I think I will answer the last question first. Why do you historians disagree? It's a difficult question. The truth is that history is a science, is also an art. And every human being comes to any subject from preconception. you come to every important matter in life from your preconception. For instance, a very close friend of mine, who is now late, Professor Yusuf Usman. There was a time he and I worked closely together after I had presented a paper in the Historical Society of Nigeria conference in Zaria. He was so enthusiastic about what I had written, because I was saying that, yes, the nations of Nigeria are different and each has its own way, its own culture, but that traditionally, before the white man came, some of them had frequent contacts with one another. And I wrote the paper to show that the Yoruba and the Hausa were in very frequent, very rich commercial intercourse together. And he was excited. And we began to exchange notes. And he was going to work on the history of the Hausa. But after the Abacha disaster, apparently he changed his historiography completely. And he was now the person writing under the aegis of SEDAC, the Center for Democratic Research and Development, and a federal government agency, to the effect that the solution of Nigeria's problems cannot and must not include any consideration for the ethnic groups. That what is needed is that there is no Yoruba nation, there is no Igbo nation, there is no Urobo nation, there is no Tiv nation. There is only one Nigerian nationality, that the federal government of Nigeria must have the courage to suppress all of this, and in order to create a Nigerian nationality. Yeah, he wrote those proposals in 2 hefty treatises that were published in 2001 and 2000 and 2001. It's the same person. You can change the facts to lie, but the facts don't change. The facts don't change. The fact of our history is that we are made up of different nationalities. Each has its own culture, its own language, its own territory, its own way of doing things, its own expectation. For instance, one Dr. Y.D. Peel wrote an article in 2016. He's now late. That was his last article, by the way, in which he said, listen, I know a little about the peoples of the world, and I say that the Yoruba are peculiarly a people driven towards progress, towards improvement. They call it Olaju, Ilosiwaju, and so on. All sorts of names. It is the same thing. You see, the Yoruba man is interested in how his village is going to become a great place. The other day I gave a lecture in Ado Ekiti, and one young man told me, you have not said something I want you to say. I said, what? He said, I want you to say that Ado Ekiti is better than Lagos. That's the Yoruba mind. We want progress at any cost. And we suppress our religious differences and all of that in order to get progress. There are other nationalities that are not like that. They should be free to manage their own affairs in their own area, in their own way. We have no business forcing upon anybody the drive towards progress. Olaju and so on and so on. We have no business. They have no business forcing their own on us too. They say, you Muslims who are Yoruba, you are fools. You are not Muslims. You are not. Yoruba Muslim comes from a culture which respects religion. the religious choices of people. The people who brought me up were partly Christian, partly Muslim. I had an uncle, one of my mother's younger brothers, who was a Quranic teacher, who taught me the Quran when I was a kid. On Saturday, he would gather us in front of his house, hold a lash, a cane in his hand, sit on a high chair, and we would repeat Allah about us. And so I learned it. I still know most of those things today. That's the Yoruba mind. My mother was a major person in the Christian church, but she never objected to my being taught the Quran. Never. Because my uncle was my father, he has a right to teach me whatever he thought was good for me. That's our culture. It's not the culture of other people. The Yoruba to live their life in their own way. We also like to have foreigners in our land. We love it. We love to have foreigners in our land. Even when they are nasty, we still love to have them. Our culture says it is a good thing. Yeah, so that is it. That is it. The answer is let each people manage their own affairs in their own way. Chief Tokumbo Ajashin asked a question. Since we have 300 nationalities, how do we do it? India has 2,000 nationalities. And they ended up by having only 28 states. 28 states. Which means that the largest nations, each is a state. The smaller nations that are contiguous form states. But they themselves decide it. Nobody forces them into it. And they write their constitution. It's easy. It's easier than most people think. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I fear that our refusal to do it will produce results that we don't like. Thank you.
Splash FM 105.5.
Well, the 6 zones is the same thing, the same question. If we decide to have the 6 zones, each has one zone will be a Yoruba zone. There is no doubt about it. One zone will be Hausa Fulani zone. There is no doubt about that. One zone will be an Igbo zone. There is no doubt about that. Now the rest, they must write their own constitution. For instance, the peoples of the South must sit together and decide their constitution. How are we going to relate in this, our new state? That's it. It's their business. So each state or zone, whatever you like it, will have a constitution written by the people or peoples of that zone or state.
Mr. Chairman, mo fẹ́ kí lecturer wa Akintoye pé ó choose Ìbàdàn Grammar School láti teach. Nítorí Ìbàdàn Grammar School èmi ti wá. Up school. What you have said is of very great interest to me. It is of interest because I served in the Foreign Service for years. I had the great privilege of being ambassador to Ethiopia. And because we had no mission in Somalia, I was asked to overlook what is going on in Somalia. Somalia at that time was in the hand of Siad Barre, and he was virtually a dictator. And the American government was greatly opposed to him. They organized the opposition and eventually got rid of him. We in Nigeria gave him sanctuary, and he was with us for almost 20 years, and he died here. But there was no longer any peace in Somalia, because trying to ram democracy in the throat of anybody creates exactly what happened in Somalia. And the British tried very hard, or the Americans, to say that the sphere of influence is Somalia, and they want people to rule them are friendly to America. They failed. So, what has bothered me is the fact that Somalia degenerated to opposite of what we are saying. That is, every village, every small county wanted to be represented in government. And this is what we have now. This is what is causing the problem now. And Nahoro, my colleague, he based his theory exactly on what we are saying. And he was a friend of mine. We were in the Civil War fighting at foot soldiers for Gawan. He felt that every nationality of Nigeria should be part of government. And I argued with him that we are going to be another Somalia. Now, Mr. Akintoye, what guarantee have you to say that it will not happen in Nigeria? That if we say everybody should have his own state, and the Yorubas are the most, probably the tribe that is almost, one can say, unique in the sense that they are almost the same people, the same ethnic group. But the recent article by even Aripo, former foreign minister, he called me one day and said, "Olu, sit down, let's talk. I don't like the way you write, people in the foreign service write their political reports." And he lectured me on that any political report from an ambassador should not be more than 15 pages. Because I have 40 embassies. If I have to read 40 pages of every one of them, I won't do anything else. So, we got talking. He's an anthropologist. And he said, all those who think Nigeria will break up in just 3 components, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, they are joking. But Nigeria is a China ware. When you throw it up, it will break to pieces. That's what will happen. And there will be a civil war. If we throw Nigeria up, and all of you say it must break up, it will break into pieces, not just 3. Now, what guarantee have we? Even the Yorubas, as we talk, why shouldn't the Yorubas, if we got the independence, everybody go his own way, why do you think that some people who want power will not decide that they should also break up for the Yorubas? Why is it now that the Afonja people are fighting to leave Kwara State, that they don't want any more Emas? This is happening now. So it is a guarantee that bothers me a lot. And you must explain to me how we go about it. How do we go about becoming atomistic, which divided into pieces and still be Yorubas, which is what exactly we want to be, one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
What happened in Somalia can happen in any country, but it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to happen. Reorganizing our country into a sensible federation is the only guarantee that it will not happen to Nigeria. If, for instance, we want to use the ethnic factor, the way the Indians used it, the chances for success and stability are strong. One, the Yoruba nation has been broken into 8 states in Nigeria. The Yoruba nation has been broken into 8 states in Nigeria. The 6 states of the Southwest, and the Yoruba in Kwara, and then the Yoruba in Kogi. That's 8. That's 8. Let's limit. That's 8. If the 8 were to form a unit in the Nigerian Federation, how would we organize our state? That's our business. My proposal will be that we will have a little federation of our own within the Federation of Nigeria. Yeah. And run ourselves as a little federation in the larger Federation of Nigeria. The Igbo already have 5 states. They too might or could have a small federation of 5 states in their own part of Nigeria. The peoples of the Middle Belt are the most problematic. And the rest to find some way to create a number of meaningful federation for themselves. Federation. That's what the Indians have done. That's what the Indians have done. It has worked. It is working. India is becoming a great power in the world. The economy is growing. Nigeria is sinking while we are messing around with a unitary system of government that will destroy Nigeria ultimately. What can create Somalia in Nigeria is the continuation of the present system, not an attempt to create a rational federation. Thank you.